Good morning. Happy March 31st. It is the last day of March, and starting tomorrow, it's already April. Can you believe it? We have about a week and a half left until spring break. And here's what's on our agenda for today. So we have math and reading. We will do Stations at the Cross. And then at 10 a.m., join us for chapter 16, Religion. I'll see you then. Bye. Good morning. We're going to start math today. You're going to need your workbook. You're also going to need your spiral notebook, and you will need this packet. And today we are talking about mass, metric units of mass. Yesterday we talked about weight, and they are somewhat similar. Let me show you. Okay, so we were talking about weight yesterday. In the United States, this is how we figure out how heavy something is. So we used ounces, and 16 ounces is a pound, 2,000 pounds is a ton. If we are anywhere else in the world, they use mass, which is the metric system. So they use milligrams, grams, and kilograms. So mass is how many molecules an object contains. So how much can fit inside, or how much makes up an object, which if you look at the scale, it's just a fancy way for saying how heavy is it in fancy terms. We're basically doing the same thing. We are seeing how heavy it is. We have milligrams, which if you see this teeny tiny piece of salt right here, that is about a milligram. That's how light it is. So 1 milligram weighs about the same, has the same mass as a grain of salt. Then we have a gram. This is a dollar bill. And 1,000 grains of salt equals a dollar bill. And then $1,000 bills equals a kilogram, which is about a water bottle here. Okay, so looking back at this, 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. 1,000 grams equals a kilogram. Okay, and here's what we're going to do today, boys and girls. Go ahead and get out your book here on page 199 for metric units of mass. So 1 grain of salt, that was 1 milligram. A dollar bill, that was about 1 gram. Also, a paper clip is about 1 gram. So whichever one you want to use as reference. And then a liter of pop here, that is about a kilogram. So times 1,000 times 1,000. Woo! Okay, so again, we're just going to do some estimating here. So choose the most appropriate unit to measure each mass, right? Gram or kilogram. If you were to weigh a third grader, would you use bottles of pop to weigh them, or would you use dollar bills? Kilograms or grams? You could use either, but I think you'd spend less time if you used kilograms. What about a golf ball? That's a pretty small object. Would I use grams or kilograms? I would probably use. Okay, draw a line to match each object and its mass. A football helmet, which one do you think it is? A remote control, which one? A car? Oh my goodness. So I know that a car is probably the heaviest thing out of a football helmet, a remote control, a car, a computer disk, and a bag of groceries. I'm going to look which one is the heaviest here. 1,200 or 1,200 kilograms. So I'm going to give you that one right there. That one's done for you. Okay, there's also a back. So choose the best estimate for these 6 right here. Paperclip, 1 gram or 1 kilogram. And then you're just writing gram or kilogram. What would you use to measure? Okay, the next thing you're going to do is in your packet, we're going to do a more or less sort. We've done one of these before. So you're going to go ahead and pull that out of your packet and get out your spiral notebook. Open to the next clean page, and here we are. So we've got diving deep with mass, you've got a less, a more, and you've got all of these little sheets. Let me show you how to glue. We're going to fully glue the title down. And then both the more and less, you are going to just do a strip side like so that it is a flap. We haven't done any flaps in a while. It's a flap, there we go. Then with all your little pieces here, you're going to cut them out. And you're going to decide more or less and glue underneath the more or less flap. So let's do an example here. You can choose any one you want. So it looks like they are some sea creatures. I have a shark here. Is it more than a kilogram or less than a kilogram? And if I remember correctly, a kilogram is about the size of a pop bottle. I'm gonna think that a shark is a lot more than a bottle of pop. So he's gonna go under more. And I'm gonna glue that shark under more. And you're going to continue with each one of your sea creatures. Good luck. Hi, third graders and any fourth graders who are joining us. Today is Tuesday and we are going to do Stations of the Cross just like we would do up at church. Last week we did stations 1 through 7 and today we will do 8 through 14. So we're going to finish. And then next week, because it is Holy Week, we will do something different for Stations of the Cross. Okay, so here we go. You have your Stations of the Cross book. You are welcome to follow along. And then remember, here is our response. I will say, we adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, and we will respond by kneeling. For by this holy cross, you have redeemed the world. Okay. Station 8. The women of Jerusalem mourn for Jesus. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you. For by this holy cross, you have redeemed the world. A group of women wept to see Jesus so cruelly treated. He has done no wrong, they cried. What is happening is neither right nor fair. Jesus looked at them sadly. Do not weep for me, he said. Weep for yourself and for your children who have to go on living in these troubled times. Dear God, when the world is unkind and people are so unfair, we weep with you. We weep with us. Station 9. Jesus falls the third time. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you. For by this holy cross you have redeemed. Jesus and the guard approached the hill that was to be at the end of the journey. Trembling, Jesus fell again. Dear God, whenever in this world there is more suffering than goodness, help me to believe that your goodness is strong and your love is full. Jesus. Station 10. Jesus is stripped of his garments. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you. For by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. At the place of execution, the guards took from Jesus even the clothes he was wearing. They gambled among themselves to decide who would have his tunic. Jesus was left with nothing. Dear God, help me not to worry about the things that people can steal, but rather to seek to live in the way you want to live in your kingdom. Station 11. Jesus is nailed to the cross. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. Then the guards laid Jesus on the cross and hammered iron nails through his hands and his feet. They hung him up to die while others mocked his suffering. Dear God, when I see violent people win, may I continue to believe in peace. Station 12. Jesus dies upon the cross. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. For several hours, Jesus hung upon the cross. He asked God to forgive those who had treated him so cruelly. He asked his friend John to be a son to his mother. He pleaded with God to tell him why he had been left alone to suffer. And then he died. Dear God, in the face of death, may I continue to believe that you forgive. Station 13. The body of Jesus is taken down from the cross. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. A man named Joseph, from the town of Arimathea, saw Jesus die. He was a wealthy man and had been a secret follower of Jesus. He asked Pilate if he could take the body and give the body. Dear God, may we continue to do good even when it seems that we have nothing left to hope for. Station 14. The body of Jesus is laid in the tomb. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. Jesus had asked that a tomb be prepared for his own death. A low cave cut into the rock with a large round stone to roll in place as a door. As evening fell, Joseph and some of Jesus' friends hurriedly wrapped the body and laid it inside with the door rolled shut. Then they had to hurry home. Their weekly day of rest, the Sabbath, was beginning. Dear God, we are in despair, and we have too many hours to sit and eat. Thank you for joining. See you next week. Welcome to reading. You're going to need your reading packet. You're going to need your journeys book, and then you're also going to need this reading packet right here. So if I look at the checklist, today is Tuesday, and we're going to do grammar. So you can read these 2 pages, and I'll show you what those are in a minute, for extra help and reference. And then you're going to do your grammar packets, and then I will show you what that third thing is if you have time. So it says open to page 230, 231. If I open the book here to 230 and 231, this is the grammar page. There's always this page in there every week. I usually just explain it. But last week we talked about adverbs, which are words that tell where, when, or how, and they describe verbs. You got it. So it would be just saying like, I jump high, she jumps higher. I'm comparing 2 things. But there's a little rule with adverbs. There's 2 things you need to pay attention to. So he walks blank, then I can run. We're going to use the adverb fast. So he walks faster. I'm comparing. He walks faster, then I can run. But one thing to pay attention to, we talked about how some adverbs end in ly, like carefully down here. So when I am using an adverb carefully, he drove carefullier than the first verb. That doesn't make sense. So you need to add the word more. Okay, so he drove more carefully than the first driver. So if you have an ly, you need to add more in front of it. So he drove more carefully. If it is just an adverb, no ly, then it's just a straight er. That's something to remember. So let's take a look at our packet. There's some more examples here if you want to practice. But I'm going to open my book, my pocket right here. Adverbs that compare. And this part up here is just explaining again, and adverbs tell where, when, and how. To compare, we use er. However, if it ends in ly, use more before. Okay, so she practiced harder than her brother needed to practice. She danced more awkwardly, was ly, than her brother did. Let's do a couple examples. So it says, choose the correct adverb in parentheses, write it on the line. The brother and sister acted bashfully than the father. The brother and sister acted more bashfully than their father. I'm looking for that ly hint. It's an ly, but more. Plus ly. So I see that these end in ly, so I want the one that says more. So on the line, I'm going to write more bashfully. You're going to continue on. Then over here, you are the one who is figuring out what it should say. So if it is just a straight word like fast, we're going to add ER. If it ends in LY, like quietly, you're going to add more. So the truck arrived today, late today than the bus did. So I don't see an LY, I'm just going to add ER. So late. The truck arrived later than the bus did today. So you're taking this word in parentheses and you're either adding ER or if it ends in LY, you're going to add a more. So I see an LY here. The cornstalk stood rigidly than the tall grass. The cornstalk stood more rigidly. That's what you're doing today. Practice that, those adverbs that compare. Then if you have a little extra time, which I believe you should, shouldn't take you too long. It says story map. Choose your own book at home. So I'm going to look the very first page here, story map. You guys know how to do these. You pick any story you want. I sent your parents some links last week to a website called Epic, which has a lot of books that read aloud to you, or you can read them yourself, but they're all electronic. And there's so many stories that I know you would love. I have a lot of books that we have in the classroom. Or you can pick one that you have at home. If you're doing a chapter book, just do one chapter. But name, title, author. Here's the setting, which is, you remember the setting is where does it take place? Characters are who, you know that. And then what happens in the beginning, what happens in the middle, what happens in the end. 2 sentences. We are third grader. 2 sentences. 2 sentences. You can do it. Best of luck.